You know that feeling, right? When you look around and it's like everything has conspired to break down at the exact same moment. Your pipes, your appliances, your wiring, it's total chaos. Well, today we're going to dive into the language of that chaos and, more importantly, how we talk about getting it all fixed.
So picture this. It's Monday morning, you walk into the office, coffee in hand, ready to get things done. But the building itself seems to have other plans for you. And it's not just one little thing that's gone wrong. Oh no, it's everything. Okay, let's just run through this nightmare scenario, shall we? First, the air conditioning is busted, so it's getting stuffy. The toilet? Yeah, that's not working either. The power keeps cutting out, and just to top it all off, the gutters are blocked, and now the parking lot is basically a lake. I mean, this place is literally falling apart. So, when you're dealing with a disaster on this many fronts, you don't call in a whole team of specialists. Not yet, anyway. No, what you need is one person. Kind of like a hero with a toolbox and a great attitude. You need the handyman. Yeah, you need that one person who can walk into this absolute chaos. And instead of panicking, they just have a plan. Someone who just rolls up their sleeves and says, all right, let's get to work. But what is a handyman exactly? Well, the most important thing to remember is that a handyman is a generalist. They're not necessarily a master plumber or a top-tier electrician, but they know a little bit about a lot of things, enough to handle a whole range of different problems. They're kind of the Swiss Army knife of home and office repair. Okay, so our hero, the handyman, shows up at the office and starts looking at the to-do list. Let's walk through it with him and pick up some key vocabulary as we go. First on the list, oh boy, the bathroom. Yep, we're starting with probably the worst job of all. The toilet keeps clogging up. That keeps tells you this isn't the first time. So what does that phrase to clog up really mean? It's pretty simple, really. It just means something is blocking the pipe. There's a blockage, and now nothing can get through like it's supposed to. The whole system is just stopped up. It's clogged. And hey, it's not just toilets, right? Your kitchen sink gets clogged with food, your shower drain gets clogged with hair. Pretty much any pipe can get clogged. Okay, what's next on this disastrous to-do list? All right, we're moving from plumbing to power. The lights are flickering, and then, poof, they're out. So you go over to that metal box on the wall, the electrical panel, and you see one of the little switches has flipped off. Yep, that's a problem with the circuit breaker. So what is a circuit breaker? Think of it like a safety guard. When it goes out or trips, it's actually doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's stopping the flow of electricity because there's a problem, maybe an overload that could be dangerous, like start a fire dangerous. But if it keeps happening over and over, that's a sign of a much bigger problem. Okay, let's head outside. Remember that flooded parking lot? Well, it looks like we found the culprit. The gutters are clogged. See? That word again, just like the toilet, but on the roof. So what exactly are gutters? Well, if you look up at the edge of a roof, you'll see those long, shallow metal or plastic troughs. Their whole job is to catch all the rainwater that runs off the roof and channel it away from the building. Super important, but you probably never notice them until they stop working. But when those gutters get filled up, clogged with leaves and gunk, that water has nowhere to go. So it just spills over the side, runs down the walls, and creates a giant puddle where it's not supposed to be. And that's how you get a flooded parking lot. Okay, so we know what the problems are. Now let's talk about how people actually talk about fixing them. These are some super common phrases you'll hear when stuff is getting done. So someone mentions the broken AC, and their coworker says, "Oh, Dan is on top of that." This is such a great phrase. It's basically a way of saying, relax, I know about it, and it's already being handled. It immediately tells you the situation is under control. Next up is a phrase that's all about being efficient. Might as well. You use this when you see a perfect opportunity to get something else done. So the handyman is already on his way to fix the toilet, right? Well, while he's here, we might as well have him look at the wiring too. It's all about making the most of a situation. Okay, so after running through that whole list of disasters, the toilet, the AC, the wiring, the gutters, someone says the handyman really has his work cut out for him. This phrase is perfect for when someone is facing a really, really big and difficult task. It's not just a quick fix, it's a huge job. And can you blame them for saying that? I mean, a clogged toilet, bad wiring, a dead AC, and a flood outside?
Yeah, with a list like that, he definitely has his work cut out for him. All these different kinds of problems really point to a bigger idea. Being a handyman isn't just a job title. It's really about being a certain type of person, a skilled generalist. And there's another fantastic phrase we use for people like that. A jack of all trades. I'm sure you've heard that one before. It's just someone who's pretty good at a lot of different things. They might not be the absolute best in the world at any single thing, but their real strength is that they can do a bit of everything. And being a generalist isn't just about fixing buildings. A real jack of all trades is someone who can, fix a problem with their car, then go inside and cook an amazing dinner, maybe replace a cracked window pane, or even just sew a button on a shirt. It's about having this huge range of practical, everyday skills. So, when you get right down to it, being a jack of all trades isn't really about what you do for a living. It's more of a mindset, right? It's a skill set that's all about being generally competent and just being able to handle whatever practical problems life decides to throw at you. And that kind of leaves us with one last thing to think about. We live in a world that is obsessed with specialization, right? There's an expert for absolutely everything. So here's a question for you. In a world full of specialists, what's the value in being a generalist? What's the power of knowing just a little bit about everything?